Hello, students. I hope you are all well and in good health. So, let me continue. I already started the chapter Indigo. By this time, you know about it. So, in my previous audio lecture presentation, I discussed up to courage. I started discussing now page number 53, as you know. So, let me continue from the next paragraph. Events justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. So, within a few years, the good news is that indigo sharecropping totally disappeared because the British planters they abandoned their estates and leave it to the peasants, to our sharecroppers, to our peasants. And after few years, this illegal activity of indigo sharecropping, it was totally disappeared. It disappeared totally. It stopped. It shut down totally. So that is a big victory for Mahatma Gandhi and his team. So now I am moving on to the next paragraph, dear students. Gandhi never contended. Contended means he was never satisfied. Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic solutions. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. Now, Gandhiji haven't left Champaran after that massive victory that he received. He stayed there and he looked after the health and hygiene of that place. He appealed for teachers, Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, two young men who had just joined Gandhi as disciples or followers, and their wives volunteered for the work. Now he looked after education, he looked after the health and hygiene, as I already told you previously. So, in his response, or because of his initiative, two persons came. One is Mahadev Desai, and another one is Narhari Parikh. These two men were actually been called by Gandhiji, so they came along with their wives to help him, to volunteer him. Several more came from Bombay, Pune, and other distant parts of the land. Now, Gandhiji called many of his followers. So, many of his followers came to Champaran. They came from Bombay, they came from Pune, and they came from other parts of the land. Devadas, Gandhi's youngest son, arrived from the ashram, and so did Mrs. Gandhi, that is Kasturba Gandhi. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages. That means, see, now Gandhiji had taken the initiative to provide education to these illiterate people or masses, we can say. Now he went on looking after their welfare from social perspective, from economical perspective also. So he called his son also came, his youngest son by the name of Devadas. He came all the way from his ashram along with his wife Kasturba Gandhi. Now primary schools were opened in 6 villages. Kasturba taught the ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation. Now Gandhi's wife had also played a very important role. He gave important lessons or instructions to the villagers, particularly their wives, related with personal cleanliness and community sanitation also. Now, let me move on to the next paragraph. Health conditions were pitiable, actually miserable, dear students, it means pitiable. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months. 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. Anybody who showed a coated tongue was given a dose of castor oil. Anybody with malaria fever received quinine plus castor oil. Anybody with skin problems or skin eruptions received ointment plus castor oil. Now, not only he looked after the health and hygiene, not only he looked after the education of the masses in Champaran and in the 6 villages adjoining that place, but he also appointed a doctor to look after the medicine perspective also, so that medicines can be provided to the villagers. So if anyone is showing a coated tongue, he was given castor oil. If anyone is suffering from malaria fever, quinine was given, plus castor oil was also given. If someone is suffering from skin problems, then also ointment plus castor oil was given. And Gandhiji also called or appointed a doctor also to look after the people. So not only he championed the cause of their grievances, that is the sharecropping one, but he stayed in Champaran for a quite longer period of time and looked after the health and hygiene, the medicine and all those things. Now that is a humanitarian service that he did. Gandhi noticed the filthy state of women's clothes. Filthy means very miserable, very dirty. He asked Kasturbai to talk to them about it. One woman took Kasturbai into her heart and said, and here I quote, "Look, there is no box or cupboard here for clothes. The sari I am wearing is the only one I have." Now, Gandhiji was also very much concerned by looking at the filthy state of the dresses of the women. He told his wife to take the initiative. Now, when his wife met with one of the lady of the village, she told that this is the only sari that she is wearing. That means Gandhiji now had to pay attention not only to health and hygiene of the villagers, but also he had to take great concern about the hygiene of the women folk of the society, or rather to say of the villages. So, and he was being ably supported in his noble endeavor by his wife. During his long stay in Champaran, Gandhi kept a long distance watch on the ashram. He sent regular instructions by mail and asked for financial accounts. Once he wrote to the residents that it was time to fill in the old latrine trenches and dig new ones, otherwise the old ones would begin to smell bad. Not only that, he set up latrines also. Now, what we nowadays call about shauchalayas and all this, he set up all those things also. So that means that he had taken great effort on his part to actually personally he had taken a great effort, endeavor we can say, to look after the health and hygiene of the people to a great extent. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Now, it might seem ordinary to others, but it was an extraordinary achievement. Later, when he gave the interview to Louis Fisher, he told that I did a very simple thing. And my ideology was that I should not be ordered in my own country what I should do and what I should not do. And the Britishers, being a foreigners, they should not order me what exactly I should do in my own country. This is a very significant line, dear students. See, what I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Yes, this is the thing I did. That I made myself very clear that the Britishers, they can't actually order me about in my own country. I am free because this is my own country. So they can't order me what I should do and what I should avoid. So dear students, I stop here in this audio presentation. In my next audio presentation, I will continue with the final part of this particular chapter. Dear students, please listen to this audio presentation very carefully, and if there is any doubt, any problem, do let me know. Thank you, students. Thank you all.